Good morning. This is Michael Bottego of the Bottego Properties podcast. And we have for this morning the Myrtle Beach real estate brief. So we'll start off with the latest press releases from the Federal Reserve Board of Governors. Dated October 6th, the Federal Reserve Board finalizes a rule establishing capital requirements for insurers supervised by the board. The press release reads, the Federal Reserve Board on Friday finalized a rule establishing capital requirements for insurers supervised by the board. The final rule is substantially similar to the proposal issued back in September 2019. The final rule includes a framework, known as the building block approach, that builds on existing state-based insurance requirements, accounts for risks that are specific to the business of insurance, and is different from the calculations used for bank capital requirements. Under the building block approach, a board supervised insurer is required to aggregate its top tier company's capital requirements with its subsidiary requirements to determine its enterprise wide requirement. All Board of Supervisors insurers currently hold enough capital to comply with this rule, which takes effect as of 1 January 2024. The next press release for the Federal Reserve Board, also October 6th, is the Federal Reserve Board announces minutes of the October 31st to November 1st meeting of the Federal Open Market Committee will be released at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Tuesday, November 21st. In light of the Thanksgiving holiday for the Federal Reserve Board announced on Friday that the minutes of the October 31st through November 1st meeting of the Federal Open Market Committee will be released at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Tuesday, November 21st, one day earlier than normal. The minutes of each regularly scheduled meeting of the committee generally are made available 3 weeks after the day of the policy decision. And a look at the weekly mortgage update from Freddie Mac. The 30-year fixed rate mortgage is currently at 7.49% average, and for the 15-year fixed rate mortgage is 6.78%. Both rates are up from the previous week. For the 30-year fixed rate mortgage, the increase is 0.18%, and for the 15-year, it is up 0.06%. From the Realtors Property Resource, the sold listings median sold price for the Myrtle Beach area is $338,227 for the month of August. For the Myrtle Beach rent average, the information from apartments.com, the average monthly rent in the Myrtle Beach area is for a studio apartment $1,115. A one-bedroom apartment is $1,353. A two-bedroom apartment is $1,559, and a three-bedroom apartment is $1,859. For the unemployment rate, the Bureau of Labor Statistics set the national unemployment rate for the month of August at 3.8%. For the state of South Carolina, the current unemployment rate is 3.0%, and the preliminary unemployment rate for the Myrtle Beach area is 3.0%. The latest from the South Carolina Department of Revenue is making sales exclusively at festivals and fairs. You may no longer need a retail license. This press release is dated October 4th, 2023. As we prepare for fair and festival season across the Palmetto State, a new state budget provision will help some South Carolina festival craftsmen save tax dollars. Artists, craftsmen, and hobbyists who make sales at fairs, festivals, and carnivals no more than 4 times in a fiscal year no longer need to collect state sales tax or obtain a retail license, according to Budget Provision 117.186, passed during the most recent legislative section. This change does not apply to those who make sales at a retail. They must still obtain a retail license. Also, events must last for less than 12 consecutive days to count as a fair, festival, or carnival. Budget provisions are temporary measures and last 1 year, though they can be reenacted. If you're a hobbyist or craftsman, the South Carolina Department of Revenue and the IRS have additional tips to help you determine your tax and licensing obligations. For more information, see the South Carolina Department of Revenue. For the upcoming week of October, beginning on the 9th of October, for Horry County, we have the Zoning Board of Appeals scheduled for 5:30 p.m. at the Government and Justice Center Multipurpose Room B. For the 10th of October at 9 a.m., we have an Infrastructure and Regulation Committee meeting at 9 a.m. at the Government and Justice Center, Horry County Council Conference Room, 1301 2nd Avenue, Conway, South Carolina. The next meeting is the Public Safety Committee meeting, scheduled at 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. at the Government and Justice Center as well. For the city of Myrtle Beach, the meeting schedule of the week of October 9th through the 15th, Monday, October 9th at 8:30 a.m. is a staff meeting at the conference room, City Services Building, 921 North Oak Street. At 9 a.m. on Tuesday, 10 October, we have the City Council workshop at the Council Chamber, Ted C. Collins Law Enforcement Center. At 10 a.m., there's a City Council meeting at the Ted C. Collins Law Enforcement Center. And at 2 p.m., Workforce Housing Advisory Board, first floor conference room, City Hall, 937 Broadway Street. For Wednesday, October 11th, at 9 a.m., we have the Accommodations Tax Advisory Committee, room 202 through room 204, Myrtle Beach Convention Center, 2101 North Oak Street. At 10 a.m., we have the Special Event Committee, Boxcar, Myrtle Beach Train Depot, 851 Broadway Street. And at 1 p.m., we have the Poet Laureate Selection Panel, room 207, Chapin Memorial Library, 400 14th Avenue North. For Thursday, October 12th at 1:30 p.m., we have the Board of Zoning Appeals, Conference Room, City Services Building, 921 North Oak Street. 6 to 8 p.m., City and Council's Dinner and Gathering at the Cypress Inn, 16 Elm Street in Conway. 6 to 8 p.m., Nights at Nance Free Concert Series, Chocolate Chip and Company Band Performance, Naris Plaza, 825 North Kings Highway. For Saturday, October 14th at 7 a.m., the Myrtle Beach Mini Marathon, City Roadways. And for Sunday, October 15th at 9 a.m., Bike the Beach event, City Roadways. The latest press release from Senator Tim Scott, dated Thursday, 5 October 2023. Scott stands against President Biden's FCC internet takeover, champions internet freedom. Today, U.S. Senator Tim Scott joined Senators Ted Cruz, John Thune, and 41 of his Senate colleagues in urging Federal Communications Commission Chairwoman Rosenworcel to abandon her proposal to reinstate failed, heavy-handed Obama-era internet regulations, which promise to create regulatory uncertainty and stifle America's ability to continue leading in broadband services. In their letter, the senators note that following the repeal of the Obama-era rules in 2017, all of the Democrats' claims, most notably that Americans would get the internet one word at a time, were proven false. Just the latest of Biden administration's actions to bypass Congress through federal agencies, this policy would impose regulations intended for public utility services such as water, gas, and electricity on internet service. The latest from Senator Lindsey Graham's office, their press release dated October 7, 2023, Graham's statement on Israel attacks. U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham today made his statement following Hamas's unjust invasion and attack on Israel. Our thoughts and prayers are with our friends and allies in Israel as they defend their homeland from this unjust invasion and attack by this terrorist group Hamas. It would serve Israel and the world well to respond to this outrage by launching an operation that will destroy the Hamas organization, not just contain it. I am convinced that this unprecedented and brutal attack by Hamas is not only supported by Iran, it was designed to stop peace efforts between Saudi Arabia and Israel. A peace agreement between those two nations would be a nightmare for Iran and Hamas. Israel has lived long enough in the shadow of the Hamas terrorist organization. Israel has always been pressed by the international community to make a proportional response to any attacks and the world was ready to condemn any Israeli excesses in defending their citizens and homeland. That kind of thinking and criticism needs to come to an end. We should support Israel's ability to eradicate this terrorist threat by any and all means necessary. The latest press release from Governor Henry McMaster, dated October 3rd, 2023. Governor Henry McMaster signed Certificate of Need Repeal. Governor Henry McMaster and Lieutenant Governor Pamela S. Yvette today were joined by state agency leaders, members of the General Assembly, and others for a ceremonial bill signing of S-164, Certificate of Need Repeal, which eliminates the requirement for most healthcare facilities to obtain a Certificate of Need from the Department of Health and Environmental Control before building a new facility, purchasing certain medical equipment, or providing additional medical services. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and that concludes the Myrtle Beach Real Estate Brief. If you like the information that you're receiving, please like and subscribe to this channel.